Studio110.live, man, back at it, doing what I do the best. Well, a couple. I do a few things the best, but live on the air every day, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 Pacific Standard Time, Studio110.live. Make sure you follow us on our Instagram page, Studio110.live. Man, we got so many great videos up there, great pictures. Shout out to all the guests that have been in the studio. Shouting out the guests that were on my show yesterday, the legendary DJ Nasty Ness out of Los Angeles. Man, paved the way for Sir Mix-a-Lot, myself. Hell, Macklemore was on there yesterday. My boy Nick and Ben from Zima Marketing in the studio yesterday, and it's been a great week so far. And I'm told that we got some big guests also on deck for the remainder of the week. So super excited about that. And man, I just want to talk about the weather for a second. You know, I'm out here in the Pacific Northwest, and you know, we all know it's springtime. Summertime is not fully on deck yet. But I'm looking outside of my studio here on the 33rd floor of the building that we broadcast from, and it's a nice day out here today. You know, everybody says, doesn't it rain every day in Seattle? Isn't it overcast every day? Isn't it gray and cloudy and gloomy? No, it's not. It's not. It's a really nice day today, and shout out my guy Lauren. My guy Lauren's been hitting me up all morning saying, man, like, you got to get out on the boat today and broadcast your show and invite some of your friends out. I said, Lauren, I appreciate the invite. And I know he's listening and watching right now as he makes his way down to his big old boat. But, you know, when I got guests already on deck, coming into the studio, promoting it on their social, doing everything that they do, I'm not going to just get on a boat and leave all my guests hanging. We got a whole summer ahead of us to be able to get on boats, jump off boats, get on inner tubes, jet ski, water ski. I mean, that's what I love to do. Like, I need to get myself a jet ski because jet skis are so much fun, especially the high-power Kawasaki's. You can just especially at Seafair when all the boats are lined up together, you can just kind of I thought it could be a kind of a fun little business is giving people rides back to shore. If they want to get off the boat and go back to land, could have a little jet ski water taxi business. So, hey, it's not something that I have the time to do, but I'm always a creative guy. So shouting out Lauren, and I also want to shout out my boy Justin. My boy Justin and I had breakfast this morning. He came down here. Shout out to Helio Juice Company and everything that he's part of, and looking forward to continuing the conversation with my boy Justin. So it's been a great day overall. You know, when the sun's outside and you feel energetic, you wake up at 6 o'clock, you do some exercising, you eat a good breakfast, you're ready to tackle the day and do it. That's in the mindset that I'm in right now. But now I want to focus on my first in-studio guest. He goes by Bartek, a senior software engineer for Google. If you don't mind putting on the headphones, please, I'd appreciate it. And man, it's good to have you in the studio today. I'm sure this was a good opportunity for you to leave the computer work behind at Google and have some fun. I mean, I'm sure you were super excited to come in today and get on there. If you don't mind getting close to the mic here so everybody can hear you and see you.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
No problem.
Yes, I'm excited.
And I'm sure your day in and day out of representing Google and being a senior software engineer for Google, it's it's kind of it's probably a fun job, but any opportunity you can get outside of the studio to have some fun outside of the office into the studio is probably calling your name, right?
Absolutely.
Well, welcome to the show. It's Tech Tuesday. So normally for Tech Tuesdays on Studio110.live, I like to get people technology based that can come in and talk about major avenues and streams that they're working on. Obviously, Google is at the top of the list. You're very highly ranked up there in terms of how the engine that you guys provide for people is pretty much the number one of choice for me, if not for most of the world. So excited to have you in the studio today. Let's talk about Google. Let's get into it. You being a senior software engineer, you're probably working on a whole bunch of projects and a whole bunch of deadlines and initiatives. And let's get into it. What are you currently working on right now for Google?
So currently I'm working on a technology that...
If you can come a little closer to the mic. Sure. Thank you. Yeah.
So I work on something that probably almost everybody around here uses, but not many people are aware they're using it.
Uh-huh.
So I'm working with automatic updates for desktop applications, Chrome being one big example.
Okay.
And these are silent updates.
Okay.
So they bring new features and new security updates to your computer without you even thinking about it. one day you start your computer, you get a new version of Chrome, a new version of all the other applications
Sure.
from Google on your PC and your Mac.
There you go. There you go. And I mean, with it being such a major company and so many platforms and so many illustrations and so many things to continue to build into proper placement, how do you prioritize throughout the day? Are you focused on one and then getting that one done before you take on another one? Or are you working on multiple ones at one time?
So I noticed that for me, the most efficient way of working is having two bigger projects at the same time.
Okay.
Because it never happens that you can work on one project straight all the time.
Sure.
There's always like some kind of blockage.
You want to keep your plate full. You want to have different priorities so you can just be switching in and out of lanes, you know?
Yep. So juggling two projects, sometimes three projects at the same time. Three gets a little bit tricky to manage.
Yeah.
Because like by the time you switch back to the first one, you already forgot what you were working on. But two is like an optimal number.
And what was the prime time kind of feeling that you wanted to kind of represent and be a full-time senior software engineer for Google? Did they reach out to you, or did you hear about the opportunity, or how did that come into place?
I got approached by a recruiter via LinkedIn.
Okay.
Like once in a while, I get messages from different companies.
Okay.
Because I used to work for Microsoft.
Okay.
Once you land a job in Microsoft, then you're automatically attractive to other companies
Sure.
of that caliber. So
Sure.
on a regular basis, I would get emails from Amazon, Facebook, Google, and other recruiters.
Great.
And there was this point of time in 2010 where I had been already working 6 years for Microsoft, and I just felt like I wanted to change.
Sure.
And my primary choice was to consider a job in another team in Microsoft. But if you want to change teams in Microsoft, you have to still refresh your resume and go through the interview process.
Right.
So because I had to do the one day or the other, I figured might as well submit my resume to other companies. So I responded to all the recruiters that had recently, at the time, messaged me, sent my resume, and I just figured, let me see what they can offer.
Good.
And turned out Google came up with like a really good offer, like way better than what Microsoft had offered me. And I didn't want to quit Microsoft, but it was the kind of offer you just can't refuse.
Sure. And when you get an offer like that, you just you gotta sign at the dotted line and now represent Google.
Yeah.
And I've heard that too. I have other friends that work for Google, and they say it's it's a great place to work, and they take care of their employees, and there's a lot of good benefits.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So, do you guys have the Google yacht yet? For days like this, where you guys can just call the captain out and get the Google yacht out. I mean, it's good product placement. Think about it, getting a big 70, 80 foot yacht and wrapping Google signage all over it.
I'll bring it out with my boss.
If he likes the idea, tell him that we could all have a conversation. And hey, I could be broadcasting on there too. You could be broadcasting on the Google yacht.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's an idea.
You never know what could happen. Let's get into it and talk about the work culture in Google. And obviously, we don't need to talk about Microsoft because that was your previous platform. But what's the work culture like in Google? Are people like hanging out after work and going out for happy hour and going bowling and having fun, or everybody just is kind of in their own lane?
I think it's the latter. Like most people are in their own land. They just go back home, do their thing. But there are some cool people out there with who I hang out, and we occasionally go get a beer. Or my friend has a boat, so we go there sometimes.
Good.
In terms of professional work culture, I would say Google is one of these exceptional environments where people are like extremely cooperative and helpful to each other. It's a culture that is based on peer feedback. So you kind of want to please your coworkers so that they give you good feedback at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that's why people are just like so helpful towards each other.
Yep. Because I can, I've never been to any of your offices, but I can kind of picture that it seems like everybody would have headphones on and everybody sits at their desk, and there's not a lot of camaraderie. There's not a lot of people talking and, water cooler talk.
True. There's not much of that. Mostly people just sit in front of their computer and send each other's emails and messages on Hangouts. in the micro kitchen, like people just like pass by each other, not much of a conversation or eye contact going on, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's a little sad part about the Google culture or any software engineer culture for the matter.
Yep. If you're just tuning into the big show, Studio 110.live, Dirty Harry back at it Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 Pacific Standard Time. Got my guy Bartek here in the studio for Tech Tuesdays, a senior software engineer for Google. Let's talk about how to land a job in a company like Google for students that are thinking about looking into Google and other avenues and other opportunities. But obviously, the focus today is to talk about Google. So, your advice to ultimately be able to get a job with Google?
The earlier you start, the better. I started programming when I was 12, and I was really passionate about it and was engaged in the more and more advanced projects and programming competitions. Through that, I managed to get to a really good university where I continued the programming competitions as well as preparing younger students to those competitions and having some successes myself worldwide. And that's how I was fetched from Poland. I'm from Poland, by the way.
Yes.
So I was fetched by Microsoft for internship.
Okay.
And from that moment on, it was easier. Like once you're interning Microsoft, it's relatively easy to become a full-time employee. All you need to do is not screw up.
Right.
And then once you're in Microsoft, it's relatively easy to get interviews with companies like Google, Amazon, Facebook, and whatnot. Now, having said that, you don't have to be starting when you're 12. You don't have to participate and win programming competitions to land a job in these companies.
12 is definitely an early start. That's the shoes are barely fitting at 12. So
yes, it is.
Yeah.
But I know of people who found their passion for computers in college.
Yeah.
So you can have a late start and still land the job. But I would advise you the earlier start, the better. So if you're in high school, just get engaged into programming, maybe do a website for a friend or something, or write a simple game. Just get your feet wet.
Yeah.
Also, having good grades helps because then it will be easier to get to a good university. And I feel like in the US, good university is the key. UW is right around the corner, and I know this is a great university. And if you go to UW and you have a good GPA, then all these companies will be fighting for an opportunity to interview with you.
Yep.
Now, also, on top of having good grades, I highly recommend and be engaged in extracurricular projects. Like do some application on the side. Teamwork is extremely important because that's one of the things that these companies pay attention to. Try to get internship. Even if you don't get an internship at Google, get it anywhere else, wherever you can, just to get experience. And try next year. Always try. Don't assume you're not good enough. Always attempt.
And when people say, and I always give this advice too, when people say no, turn around and say yes. You got to be competitive, knowing that there's a lot of people, competing. So it's being brilliant at the basics, but being brilliant like with LinkedIn, like you talked about, and different social avenues to be able to try to ultimately connect up with the recruiters or the hiring managers.
Oh, absolutely. Now, having said that, you still have to have really strong technical basics. I recommend that you have some experience with languages like C++, Java, C#, or Go, which is a relatively new language created by Google. Also, for interview purposes, you really need to know algorithms and data structures.
Okay.
You don't have to know the advanced ones, but you have to have an idea of what they are, what they do, and how to use them. There is this website called topcoder.com, which offers programming competitions on a fairly regular basis. And you don't have to be an advanced programmer. You don't have to be at the top of Topcoder. But just participating in these online competitions will give you enough experience to pass the interviews to major companies.
And I just wanted to ask you, so like Amazon is notorious and they're known for, their process for the interview is called the loop, where you go through the loop and it's usually 1 or 2 days. You meet with 5 or 6 people, and you have to clear the loop to be able to get on there. Does Google do something similar?
Yes, they do the same thing. Usually, the companies start with a phone interview,
Correct.
1 or 2, and that's basically called phone screening, to make sure that they don't invite anybody for interview loop who is not good enough and would waste time of the interviewers. Once you get invited on site, it's gonna be 5 or 6 one-hour interviews.
Okay.
With every interview will be with a different person. Usually they will ask you short problem-solving and programming questions. That's why I mentioned the algorithms, because typically you will have to show experience with those.
Yep.
Sometimes they will ask you like a system design question. For example, when I interviewed with Facebook, I got a question: how would I design a storage for images from the beginning to the end, like from the moment somebody uploads a picture to how it lands on the hard drive?
And how did you answer that?
Oh man, it was like 8 years ago. But basically, we have to like take into account multiple layers. So there's some kind of front end. When you go to Facebook.com, your data gets sent to a front end, and the front end decides which of the servers this data is supposed to go to.
Okay.
And then it sends it to, in this particular case, it will be like a server dedicated for processing images. And the server gets the image and converts the images, different sizes, like thumbnail versus like actual size. Sometimes maybe either compress it or lower the quality of the picture so that it's smaller on the hard drive. It was more important back then, 8 years ago. And I think Facebook stores like an actual full image. Back then, they actually had to trim the quality to have a reasonable storage size. And then it just sends it to another server, file server with hard drives. And that's likely a kind of like a cloud kind of server with multiple copies of the same data spread around, and some kind of directory that knows where the data lies.
What was your opinion on just the controversy? It's nothing new. I mean, everybody knows about it, but just with the privacy settings with Facebook, tapping in and knowing a lot of information about people.
That's a tricky question. I personally, I am not that worried about my privacy. That's something I give up when I post something on Facebook. I mean, it becomes publicly available.
You see a lot of celebrities and a lot of people leaving Facebook for that one reason, that they felt like they got a little, They were kind of told one thing, and then they saw another thing on kind of the back end, and it affected a lot of people, where people just didn't want their information out there, and they didn't want other people seeing, personal information and photos.
Well, if there's a miscommunication about what the service promises to do in terms of privacy and what it actually does, that's a bad thing. Now, having said that, it's everybody's choice how much they feel comfortable with their data, their posts, their pictures flying around on a social media. And like I said, I am not that worried myself. I am a fairly public person myself, but I understand people's need to feel private. And it's their choice not to use this kind of media, and either use another media or not use media at all.
And you see people, not just celebrities, but people in general going to Instagram now, where Instagram has been surpassing Facebook for a number of reasons.
Instagram is picking up. Yeah, it's even surpassing Snapchat.
Yeah. So that's definitely an interesting fact that I think we'll have to definitely stay on, because who knows? I mean, we saw MySpace come in, and then MySpace evaporated, and we see Facebook.
MySpace, what's MySpace?
Yeah, and even though Facebook's posting up numbers of damn near 28 billion a year or something like that, it was a bad business move for them to be able to put people in that type of position. Mm-hmm. So with it being Tech Tuesdays, I want to kind of touch on now about AI and self-driving cars. I know Google's got their hands on that to a degree, and it'd be cool to get you to speak on some knowledge that you can speak about in terms of AI and self-driving cars.
I'm just getting myself interested in this topic. I wouldn't call myself an expert on that, far from it, but I am really excited about the future of AI and self-driving cars. Uh, I think there's some stigma related to AI, like people are afraid of it. But what people usually talk when they're in the movies like Terminator and Matrix
Yeah.
and Ex Machina, it's a concept of a true AI where an entity has a self-awareness and is able to make their own decisions in any part of life. Whereas what we're dealing with currently is not true AI. We're far from it. We're dealing with this reactive AI that basically reacts to what we see, what it sees in front of it, maybe with a concept of a little bit of a future prediction based on the past. But it cannot make decisions in every aspect. It's designed to make decisions in like one or two particular things. For example, with self-driving cars, you have to recognize what you're dealing with. You have to recognize your environment. Tell cars from bicycles, from people, from curbs, from signs, from a picture of a bicycle and a bus. And so AI is designed to recognize these things and then make the decision based on that. So it's not something that will suddenly decide that, oh, we hate humans, so we're not just gonna drive over a human being. No, it's like this kind of thing is, with the current state of technology, is impossible. Where it's like very restricted algorithms that are designed to recognize what we're dealing with and make some kind of decisions through machine learning, typically, on what's the best thing to do to achieve certain goals. And in this case, the goal would be safety and getting from point A to point B.
And how far away do you think we're from seeing a self-driving car on the road? In your opinion?
Not that far away. I think it will happen in the mid-20s, where it will catch on for good.
And if you had to take a prediction, which automobile manufacturer do you think will be first out of the gate? You think Tesla will be the first?
Well, I'm a big fan of Tesla, and I root for them. Google has got a head start before everybody else. I'd probably think like Google and Tesla will be the front runners. Uber is kind of behind them.
Yeah.
Recent events show that they're not ready, in my opinion.
And when we talk about just automobile and technology built into automobiles, now no cars really are built with CD players. I mean, that's just becoming obsolete. Now it's satellite radio and shows like mine here,
Yes.
live shows. So what do you think will be the next thing that'll be removed to enhance technology with these automobile manufacturers, where it's just an easier, more faster flowing process just for the consumers wanting to purchase a vehicle like that?
That's a good question. I didn't really think of that. Probably soon a steering wheel will be removed.
Really?
Yeah, we're not there yet, definitely. Like, even Tesla is like, whenever you buy the car with assistance, there always are driving assistance. It always reminds you to keep the hands on the wheel. So I don't think we're ready to do it in the next few years. But eventually, will be just a vehicle. You go in, you open your laptop, and it gets you to your destination without you even have to think about it.
Kind of like autopilot on an airplane. The pilots go in there and they type in some key notification into the flight deck, and the airplane can pretty much take itself off and land itself. So,
Yeah.
who knows what the future holds for self-driving cars and more adaptive new technology going into to these automobile manufacturers. And I'm excited to see the next, things that they, I mean, one thing that you are seeing that I'm personally a fan of, and when we talk about, the Chrysler Dodge Jeep brand, especially in the new Dodge rollout of the new 2019 vehicles, they're almost like 10 or 11-inch screens, like to go up against Tesla. So I don't know if you've had a chance to see those yet or not, but they're pretty massive. So
Actually, I haven't.
So I think we'll start seeing larger screens, like that really kind of looks like a flight deck of an airplane, definitely more aerodynamic, and I think that's we see that a lot even with low end cars to high end cars. I mean, the Toyota Camry, look what they did with that vehicle, and some of the Hyundai products. I mean, they're making them just so user friendly that you just don't. They want to more computers based into the inner cabins that can offset and give you a much more dynamic experience from the research that I've done with these vehicles. Let's also talk about social issues related to the computer industry, like of course Nerd Sigma, and then the low number of women in the computer industry that we need to change that.
Yeah, absolutely. We gotta change that. I was just talking recently to my friend Chinara. She also works for Google, and she's engaged in trying to get more girls interested in programming and computer science. One of the things that she mentioned was that problem number one is that women are told by the society how their life is supposed to look like, and engineering and computers are just not part of that, and that just has to end. Like that, we have to be open-minded and give everybody the same opportunity and let them invest whatever they're passionate about. Another problem is that it's a lack of good role models, and also lack of other peers, female peers that the girls can look up to get interested in programming and computers. It's a little bit of a vicious circle, because now that we're in a situation where not many women are in the programming industry, so there's little inspiration for girls in the future to become interested in this. And I actually got a little bit of a theory on that, why this happened to begin with.
Well, please share.
Like back in the days, in the 80s and 90s, computer games were designed pretty much for guys. It was shooting games, fighting games, racing games. That's pretty much it. Guys were all over it and were excited. So it was very natural for them to get interested in computers and like trying to create games on their own. And once they learned programming, they could do other things. And I think that's why it became a male-dominated industry. And now we're just in this vicious circle, and it's hard to get out of it. And my friend Chinara, she's actually working actively on trying to change that and inspire young women to. Good
for her. I'm glad she's taken the initiative and the platform to be able to do that, because that definitely needs to be changed. We need to see more, women into, like you're saying, the computer science, computer technology world. We see it a lot, on the tech side at Amazon. Amazon is definitely quite a few, but I think obviously, like you mentioned on the Google side, there's definitely a lot of room for new platforms, and I think it's just being creative. I think it's being creative and offering some new dynamic offsets with new technology streams to be able to get people excited to be able to step into these roles, and that needs to come from the top. That needs to come from the top. But I think with the creativity, I know you guys aren't lacking creativity over there. So the more creativity that goes into it, the more people will be excited to step up to the plate and be excited to be able to pass out a business card ultimately that says Google on it. That's the way I see it from an outsider looking in. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Working for Google is something that people can be proud of. It's a great company. It's not easy to get into. So definitely, it would be a great goal for some young people out there who are ambitious and capable.
Good. Well, it'd be good to have you back in again. And there's always new things to be talking about with technology, and I'm sure there's new platforms that your bosses or your boss told you that you couldn't talk about today on the air, but maybe next time there's something that you can't talk about on the air, you can come in and we can share it. And maybe even Google wants to do a big announcement saying, hey, Studio 110.live's got some new unveiling for Google thanks to our senior software engineer, Bartek, our new buddy here at Studio 110.live. With that being said, any surprises that we can hint or talk about a little bit, that any rollouts that you have up your sleeve, or we'd get into too much trouble if we started talking about that?
Yeah, none of it.
All right, so we'll keep that off grid. Any shout outs you want to give to anybody? You want to say hello to anybody?
Well, I want to say hello to all my friends.
Okay.
And look out for the next party. I founded a Seattle Social Circle that organizes this party every month, and it's summertime, so we're gonna do some beach bonfires really soon.
Where, like Alki, Kula?
Golden Gardens.
Golden Gardens
is our favorite beach.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll have to stop by and see how you guys at Google get down and party at Golden Gardens, which is for all the people out of state listening. Golden Gardens is a fun spot on a summer day to fire up the barbecue and get out on the beach. They've got volleyball, and there's a whole bunch of fun you could do at Golden Gardens. So you're onto something there. You've got my interest peaking at a high level. So and I'm also interested too. You said that your buddy has a nice boat. So anytime you guys get out on that thing, let me know. I love boats. I love the water. Like I said, I love jet skiing and getting out there and having some fun. But of course, being safe too. I mean, it's all about safety. So Thank you again for coming in today and being part of Tech Tuesdays. And we'll look forward to having you back on here again soon. Our next guest is going to be on the line here via New York City. The old saying, so nice they named it twice. My guy Jay, the CEO of Fan Stereo Headphones, a big headphone speaker brand out of New York City, with receiving a lot of national notoriety and attention and a lot of respect from a lot of music artists. So it'll be good to get Jay here. We'll call Jay, and let's get Jay here on the line. Here's Jay, and then we'll have a fun conversation to see what's going on with Fan Stereo in New York City. So.
Hello, Jay.
Jay, everybody, Harris out here on the West Coast. We're live on the air. Welcome to my show, Studio 110.live.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, brother? I'm good, man. Hanging in there, brother. I'm actually walking in the store right now.
Are you?
Yeah, but I'll walk outside real fast, man. And we'll jump in this thing real quick.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time. You're a busy man. You're a well-respected man in New York City, the CEO of Fan Stereo Headphones. My guy, Jay. I wanted to get you on. Your business partner Walter and I have a good relationship, and it's good to have you on. And I'm all about technology. Today is actually Tech Tuesday, so we always try to incorporate everything going on the technology side of the business. And last time I checked, Fan Stereo plays a big role in everything going on with the technology side of the speakers and the headphones and your whole line. So let's get into it. Welcome to the show, Jay, CEO of Fan Stereo.
Thanks.
Studio 110.live, Dirty Harry live on the air out here, based in the West Coast. So let's get it kicked off, man. Tell me about Fan Stereo and what's currently happening with Fan Stereo.
Well, there's a lot of things that's going on right now. We just got back from the Emmy Awards in Los Angeles. Had a great time out there. It's always good to give celebrities, a try on it, especially because we are a celebrity-based, capsule collection type of brand. I mean, we do have our general Fan Stereo consumer electronics brand, but we have our separate division for celebrity capsule collections. So we do a lot of them. We've signed artists like, OT Genesis, Ao and Teo, and, the list goes on and on of different, top Billboard performers. And, really at the end of the day, our brands are unique. They're different. We've created technologies like, HPA, which it stands for high precision audio. Excuse me. It is definitely a quality of sound that nobody has ever heard. We've had some really good reviews on the product from, from Tom's Guide all the way down the line. And, I think everybody's just finding our products to be clear and very precise sound, and the aesthetics is incredible. I mean, we make them out of aluminum and stainless steels and some really neat leathers. They're very lightweight. They're featherweight. So a lot of people just put them in their pockets and throw them in their purses, etc. Our Bluetooth speakers are, I mean, as you already know, because you have our products, you were one of the first to get them. But we have, the new Bump Plus. It's the very first, Bluetooth handheld speaker. We actually did the patents on those first, and came out with them actually third. But ours is doing very well. We're very pleased. And then, we also offer other products like our in-ears or earbuds, if you will. They're called EIRS, EIRS. And, many other headphones to come. So we've got some really unique things, not to mention our record label is about to open up, Fan Stereo Music. We're getting very active in signing new upcoming artists, which, you're the music guy, so you understand how that works.
Oh, absolutely.
And, yeah. And then we got our fashion line. Our fashion line, we've, doing a partnership with a really big brand and coming out with the Fan Stereo, fashion brand, which is super cool. And there's just there's a list of things that's going on. So we're having a great time, and we're enjoying the business and enjoying the people, and our customer service is great. So I mean, it's all been good. It's fun. We love it.
Awesome, man. If you're just tuning into the big show right now, Studio 110.live, Dirty Harry here at it, doing what I do. The best man on the air, hosting the show Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 Pacific Standard Time. I got my friend Jay, the CEO of Fan Stereo, out there based in New York City. So let's talk about what's the number one top bestseller right now in your line, whether on the speaker side or on the headphone side. That's just been literally, you just can't keep them in stock nationally.
Well, yeah, I don't know, we're good, but I don't want to say, we're no Beats by Dre at this point. We're not even on that scale. Not to mention we're we're rapidly growing, but we're trying to do it at a good growth that's manageable. But our number top two sellers right now are our Studio 43 headphones, the black and silver and the camel and silver. And we have a list coming, so we have all black coming and some unique colors nobody's ever seen anodized on aluminum. And then our new bump, our new bump. And that's probably sold the most is our new bump speakers. Everybody loves them. So they're loud. They fit in your pocket. You could explain it better than I can because you're there and you have one. So you could demo it for somebody for that matter.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're great. It's great products.
And I was told too, if I'm not mistaken, that you got some new, like you were mentioning, some new upcoming releases where there'll even be camera technology based into the headphones. Correct?
Yeah, we do. We have a couple of things like that are coming out, and we were the very first people to patent these kinds of things, and so yeah, we definitely are doing some unique, very smart headphones because we already know Apple's been following us for many years, and is copied some of the stuff in our development, process. Which I hate to say that, but facts are facts.
Absolutely.
It's the truth. And so unfortunately, those things happen. We're not as big as them. We're just very smart. We're very smart in engineering and design and making really great products. But we're always going to get our butts kicked by some of the big boys, which is okay. There's room. There's room in the marketplace. But when it's funny because when Apple just recently announced that they're getting into the headphone space significantly and kind of tapering off on the mobile space, and therefore what that does for us is it really puts a big monkey on our backs because we are very innovative and creative, and they just watch, and when we come up with something crazy, they're going to make it even crazier, and they have the ability to do it and the money. So but unfortunately it is what it is. But yeah, we do have some cool stuff coming out. We have the Paradigms that'll be coming in the beginning of the year. Very first headphone lit. It's the very first headphone that is, has dual Bluetooth, allocated one to the right ear, one to the left ear. So, it's unique. It sounds incredible.
Well, you and I are both very competitive, Jay, and we also know that you could be the smallest company, the smallest outlet in the country, but if you're putting technology into headphones like you are, with Bluetooth and cameras and just all these new classifications into empowerment, that's you could be the smallest, and overnight you could be the biggest. So it's like that. That's
Yeah, we can. Yeah, I mean, we can. There's always that opportunity to do that. I mean, and I'm sure we will. However, there are. We are creating competition now, and it is going to be what it is going to be. But yeah, I mean, we're building basically. We went into a market that nobody really thought about going into, which is basically creating the computer inside of your headphone. So I mean, we have the very first. We pioneered the very first computer built inside of a headphone, embedded into a headphone, where it's physically like taking your Mac laptop and putting it inside of a headphone and walking around, not do anything.
And when can we
Control
expect
it all
to?
from your fingers and voice.
When can we expect to? When can we expect to see these at retail? And what do you think the price point roughly will be?
Well, it just depends. I mean, right now the Studio 43, we're doing an upgrade on them right now, which is going to blow everybody's mind. And we already have some of those features that I just mentioned to you built into the new Studio 43s that are coming. And those will be out in the next 60 days. And you can expect you can buy them anywhere, but I mean, as far as in-store retail, we're talking to Best Buy, and we have a bunch of other major retailers that have approached us, but we have to take a very strategic approach in this, because we don't want to kill ourselves. I mean, one of the worst things you can do as an entrepreneur is come out with a brand and just overflow yourself by throwing it into the stores, and you can't keep up with the purchase orders, and you got a logistical nightmare. So we want to start with like one major retailer, such as a Best Buy, or someone at that that level, and start with some type of limited exclusive, so that people get it in that retail store only, or they can buy it online anywhere.
And what colorways will you be doing for the new line coming out in the next 60 days?
Would you say what colors?
What colors will you be doing?
Yeah, so one of the hot ones we have is called Drakkar, and it's a very unique black. It's not your typical black, and so that one's coming out in the next 60 days. And then we've got an all aluminum headphone with all white leathers on it that's very similar looking to our Airs earbuds. Super sexy.
Well, I'm super excited to be able to be one of the first guys in the country to try that and talk about them on the air. And I know you'll eventually be able
you'll get them.
Eventually, you'll be able to make it out here and be in the studio live with me here at Studio 110.live. I know you have a couple retail outlets around the country. I know you said you believe you have one, of course, in New York, but you also have one in the stadium, correct, in Carolina, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, we're working with them right now. We're talking about building out some actually fan stereo stores. So we're in talks of that right now, and I think that's what, when you and I spoke, that's what we were talking about.
Yep.
Is the actual the listening lounges, and we are in the middle of doing those deals right now as we speak. We're also working on some other really big play with an artist that has passed away and is an iconic artist that we are working with to build an entire collection for this particular artist. So it's going to be nice.
And let's just talk about briefly just the fashion side of the conversation. You and I are both fashion guys, and we've done a fair amount in the fashion business, and we know a fair amount of people also. So I know you mentioned that the line is still in the works to come out, correct? On the fashion side of the business.
Yeah, we're building or developing I say building a lot because we're always building headphones and consumer electronic products, but in this particular case, we are designing a new fashion line with a renowned brand, and we feel it's going to do very, very well. It's very different, and it's very comfortable. You can wear it all year round, winter, summer, spring. I mean, it's a very unique product. And, we feel that, fan stereo, we created it as a lifestyle. So we are into the fashion, the music, the everything lifestyle, today. So that'll be out probably first quarter, coming up to hit stores and online, of course. Usually we like to start at places like Touch of Modern and, test things there to see how well they do. And if people, are really liking our products, we want to get reviews on them and get people's opinions, because if there's something that they don't like, then, we want to go fix it.
Absolutely, you got to definitely have your finger on the pulse and knowing what the demographics of these retailers, what they're ultimately looking for. When we talk about the line, are we talking about T-shirts and hoodies, or pretty much a full-fledged line where there'll be outerwear?
Yeah, it's a whole collection. I mean, it's shirts, it's hoodies, it's jumpsuits, it's all kinds of stuff. Shorts. I mean, the shorts you can't wear in the winter unless you feel like it, but I mean, the jumpsuits you can wear all year round, but. Yeah, it's super, super sexy, like active wear, if you will.
So you're happy with what you're being shown then, in terms of your fashion partners, in terms of when they come into your office in New York, the samples that they're bringing in, you're approving them, Jay. You're liking them, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Good.
I mean, we've got some really cool stuff. So yeah, I mean, we're working with. I know you know who the High Children are because you've done a lot of work with them, but. We are working with them very, very closely, and they're probably going to be the very first artist coming out on the Fan Stereo label, and they're going to do very good. So right now they're, from my understanding, they kicking ass. Got number 1, number 3, number 5, number 6,
yes.
number 8,
yeah.
All over the place. They
yeah.
keep popping and popping and popping and popping. So, I love the group. They were down here in our studios. We had a great time. We made music. We had fun, and it's just like a hit after hit. And just the whole music fits what we do. It's we're not just into the general music of today, but the music of tomorrow, and bringing back what was yesterday. So it's a nice we're, like I said, we're a hybrid headphone. We're a hybrid. Consumer electronics company, and we're a hybrid record label with hybrid artists.
Well, we're super excited to partner up with you. And I always tell people, when I'm speaking about my guys, the High Children, I manage them along with the legendary DJ Nasty Ness out of Los Angeles. And there's not too many groups on the West Coast that have a headphone brand like yours, Jay, in association with, and that's powerful. That's very powerful. And just on the label side of the conversation, to have a platform to team up with like you and your company, for a national reach and progression, and to reach the appropriate demographics into play. I mean, I couldn't think of a better partnership. So we're definitely excited, from the High Children, Jason and Jamal, to represent Fan Stereo on the highest level possible. Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun. It already is fun. I mean, now we're just about to get crazy with it. We're signing. We have a couple artists on deck that, we're in the middle of signing right now as we speak. One from Atlanta, one from Florida, and we've got some really cool artists coming out. And High Children, they've got some bangers about to just hit. So.
Well, are their record right now that's currently out here in the Northwest at my buddy John's radio station, C89.5. I mean, it's being played like 28 times a week, hold up. And, I see people reacting to that record like I haven't seen people to react to a record in a long time. So it's a good feeling, knowing that, the next group here out of Seattle that's really about to pop. I mean, Sir Mix-a-Lot did his thing, Macklemore did his thing. We have a lot of talent out here. We have, all the producers. Vitamin D, and
you guys don't have anything to do but stay inside because it rains all the time. So I get it. I mean, it's just raining, make a record.
Well, you would, yeah. And I mentioned that to my previous guest. My previous guest, just before I had you on there, was a senior software engineer for Google, and we were chatting. And today is a beautiful sunny day in Seattle. So for all the people that have this built up in their brains that it's overcast and gray and rainy and gloomy and dreary every day in Seattle, believe me, it's not like that. So when you actually come out here, Jay, hopefully it'll be during the summertime. We can get you out on the boat and show you a good time. And who knows, you may want to. It'll probably never happen, but you may want to move your empire, Fan Stereo, to Seattle. Probably will never happen.
Well, we're already talking about moving our studio out there, so we know there's a lot of talent.
That's definitely a good thing in the works. Let's briefly before we wrap up, let's talk about your relationship with Ao and Teo.
Hmm. Yeah, so Ao and Teo, they're great kids. I mean, they're another group that I was like, wow, these guys are different. They're dancing, they're fun, they're cool. They're young, and they just fit perfectly with what we do. They have a great attitude, great personalities, and they love to dance, and they live their lives dancing, kind of like I did when I was a breaker. But we thought it was a good fit, so we said, hey, let's do a deal. And they're doing very well.
And how did that come into play? Like, were they approached to you, or how did they ultimately get to your office?
Yeah, they were presented to me. I mean, I already had an agreement with Jazzy Faye, who's a longtime friend of mine. He's a renowned producer. I'm sure you know who he is.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows who he is.
Yep.
A gazillion hit records. But he and I, from way back in the music days, we just reunited, and I had a conversation with him about doing a headphone deal from the infantry stages of Fan Stereo, and so we signed him. But then he had the Ao and Teo artists along with my guy Lo, and Lo used to work with Monster headphones, and then he came over with us, and so he's like, hey man, you guys check out these kids, blah 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 blah. And so that's what I did. Went down to Atlanta, hung out with them in the studio, listened to some music, got to feel the temperature. Yeah, let's do a deal. This makes sense.
My favorite song that he ever did was with my guy T.I., and it's called "Let's Get Away." It's just a smooth sounding, just popping record. T.I. Jazzy, it's called "Let's Get Away." So that was probably one of my.
Jazzy got so many records, man. That guy's got a laundry list. I told him, I'm like, hey man, let me buy one of these plaques. He's got so many.
Cool, man. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time. I wanted you to be on board with me today, and let's make it more of a regular visit via phones. You're in New York City, but there's always things to be talking about with Fan Stereo on the clothing side, on the record label side, on the headphone speaker side. So there'll be plenty of things to be talking about in the future. And myself representing the High Shoulder, and Jason and Jamal, we're super excited about the partnership, and excited to down the road here, excited to give away some product on the air during the show.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We'll definitely get you some here in the very, very near future to give away on your station for sure.
Well, I appreciate it, Jay. I hope I didn't take too much of your time. I'm sure you're being pulled left and right. So I hope I didn't.
No, we're good, brother.
Hope I didn't have to pull you
Come
away
on,
too
man.
much.
Dirty Harry.
There you go.
Come on, man.
There you go.
Got to make time for Dirty Harry.
I appreciate that.
What is it? The word was it Clint? Was it Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry?
It was. He was. Yes, he is.
What was his line again? What was that line he said? Come on, give it to us.
What that? I don't remember the I don't remember the exact
Come
line.
on, man.
But I know.
You don't remember the Dirty Harry line? Because I'm trying to remember the Dirty Harry line. What did he say again? Come on, when he pulled the gun out, he used to say something. Dirty Harry. He used to pull the gun out and say something to him. What did he say? You don't remember?
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember the line.
You need to brand that line.
Yeah.
You got to brand that line. He said something. Oh yeah, go ahead. Make my day.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, make my day. Dirty Harry from my guy Jay.
That's what Dirty Harry's like. He's like, go ahead, make my day.
Make my day. And then he pulled it out, and he just dropped him on his face. It's just what he did. Yeah. So, what's on the rest of your afternoon? I know it's approaching 5 o'clock out there in New York. Am I the last priority of the day?
Oh yeah, man. I'm good. I'm getting ready to head out.
Getting ready to head back to the house. And how's the weather today in New York?
It's nice. It's beautiful out.
Good.
Really nice today, man. Yeah.
Your summers are hot and humid, and all you want to do is be outside for a little while and then hop in the shower
sometimes,
again.
Sometimes they're good, man. It's not Miami. Sometimes they're good.
You do spend a lot of time in Miami too, though, don't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean I'm from there, so I go back and forth quite a bit.
There you go. Well, I love New York, and I got family there, and it's a great place to visit. There's a reason it's the number one city in the world, according to a lot of people, and looking forward to meeting you face to face, man. Next time I make it out there, or maybe you'll be here before I go out there. So.
Yep, it'll happen real soon, brother.
Well, thank you, Jay. I appreciate your time today, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, buddy. Take care, man.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That was my guy, Jay, the CEO of Fan Stereo Headphones out there in New York City. Just a well-respected, very well-known guy, building up a big platform for himself with Fan Stereo. My guys, the High Children. He actually just signed them to his side of the label. So now my guys, the High Children, and of course Nasty Nest's guy, the High Children, will have more of a national presence. And he asked me the other day what I wanted for the guys, and I said, well, that's an open, that's the $1 billion question. That's the open-ended question. I said first, I want some primetime billboards in the top cities at the biggest intersections. And I said, I want him to, because Jay is about as connected as it gets. And I said, I told him, reach out to your contacts at, American Airlines and Delta and JetBlue at the new terminals out there in New York and do a big performance, with all those travelers walking through those airports. So the list just goes on. It's like a freaking laundry list. So those are a few things that I asked for on my wish list for my guys. And, he put it out there. He said, he's, always looking for new talent. So with that being said, Northwest artists, I'm calling you out. Man, you got to step up to the plate. Show us what you got. Come in the studio. Spit us some game. Spit us some fire. Don't focus on pressing up CDs. Cars aren't equipped with them anymore. It's Tech Tuesdays. Let's focus on, where the business is at right now. And I think a lot of artists need to continue to do that. Nothing against the artists that are still pressing up CDs. But last time I checked, CDs are becoming more obsolete day by day by day. And that's just a known fact. So once again, I want to thank my guy, Jay, the CEO of Fan Stereo, and of course my guy, Walter Thurman, who played for the Seahawks, came out here to hold us down the championship, then got picked up by New York, one of his business partners, and Walter has been on with me, and Walter will continue to be on with me. So I just, like I said, I just wish these guys nothing but success. And with me being a national show, I got to get the proper national people on, like Jay and all the other people that have been on. I'm not going to start shouting them out because I'll forget people, and then I'll start getting the text messages, hey, you forgot to shout me out. Make sure you shout me out tomorrow. So that's my world a little bit, just to let you know into my life. When I get off the air, the phone starts just ringing off the hook, and people want those shout outs and those plugs. So there you go. I want to welcome in my next in studio guest. You were in with me about 2 weeks ago, correct?
Yeah, it was. It was a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago, you came in here with Annie Havland, and she's also your roommate, correct?
Oh, yeah.
And you said that living with her is definitely a reality TV show in itself, correct?
Oh, my God, you wouldn't even know. So every time we have new people over to the house, coming over for dinner and everything, everybody's like, you need to have a TV show, and it needs to be the new Three's Company. And it's like, because it's just, we're all just goofballs and jokers and stuff. But then when it comes down to it, we run business like business.
Correct.
And it's fun.
Yeah. And with all your wide ranges of contacts, especially with everything that you do on the TV side, but all the other businesses and avenues and streams that you're involved in, how come that reality TV show hasn't happened yet? You got a primetime person, question. Annie Havland, living with you.
I know, right? Like, that's a good question. Everybody knows Annie Havland, and everybody loves Annie Havland, and it's just, it needs to happen. That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
So speaking of contacts, guess who I talked to last night? Had a few hours conversation outside of a Starbucks until like 10:30.
Who?
David James, Super Dave.
Super.
He said to say hi.
Oh man, what a blast from the past! Wow, I didn't know you guys even knew each other.
No, I didn't either. He contacted me through Facebook and wanted to get together and talk about business and what he can do with Corvuside Productions and taking us to the next level and everything. And amazing meeting. And turns out we've been friends on Facebook for a while, and he happened to see the Homeless in Seattle trailer that just came out. Yep. And he's like, I need to know who these people are. Randomly, we are already friends on Facebook. And I assume it's through Annie Havland, through some events and stuff like that, because that's a lot of the people that find us and stuff are through those events and stuff. But get together with him and start talking, and you come up, and he's like, oh my God. He's like, I have not seen him forever. He's like, tell him hi. And like, it was awesome.
Yeah,
it was a great meeting though.
He's a great guy. I haven't talked to him in a long time. I need to reach out to him, and he's definitely a good guy. I just, what a blast from the past, when I wasn't even going to even attempt to guess that. And then you put him. Wow, it's been a long time. All right, well, welcome back to the show, Studio 110.live. Great to have you back in. We covered a lot last time you were in, but it's Tech Tuesdays, and I know we have plenty of things to talk about today. And well, actually, before we kick it off, I'm sorry I couldn't make it, but how was her birthday party? That I know she had that fun
Annie's birthday.
Yeah.
It was good. I got to like drop in. I was really busy that day and everything, but I did get to go down there and hang out with her downtown, and a huge crowd of people. I mean, she pulls in tons of people.
Yeah.
And they had I'm trying to think. It was a place down by Lake Union.
It's called Republic.
Yeah, Republic. That's where it was, and beautiful place. And got to go down there, hang out for about an hour and a half with her before I had to go back and get some sleep because I had an early morning the next day.
Well, she was very fond of the dress and the outfit that she picked out for the event.
Yes.
Did that suit her well?
She was a stunner. She looked great. It was awesome.
And I'm sure it was wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder. You couldn't even walk around the frickin' bar.
So many people. They had the whole back end like taken up, and there were so many people there.
Yeah.
It was. I got to meet a lot of new great people and stuff. Talk to some old friends that I haven't seen for a while. Because I mean, Annie Havlin's sea of people. Like you don't get to see everybody all the time because there's so many of them. Yeah,
and you can't print up enough business cards. I mean,
I know
you can print up a whole box and just utilize those just at an Annie Havlin birthday party special event.
I know, right? I just ordered another 10,000 because I ran out of the last 10,000.
Yeah, one thing that I was definitely intrigued by you, and by the way, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
Thank you. Properly introduce yourself because I don't want to leave anything out, and please give the company name and everything that you do.
I am Jeremiah Kaner. Yep. I am with Corvuside Productions. We're a production company based out of Seattle, Washington.
Yep.
We do everything from camera stabilization, or specializing in everything from camera stabilization to aerial cinematography, and we do a lot of music videos, a lot of commercials, a lot of kind of commercial industry filming and stuff like that. But we're a full-fledged production company that has our hands in everything.
Great. Well, welcome back to the show. Let's talk about what's currently on deck. And I'm sure you've got multiple priorities that we want to talk about today. It's Tech Tuesday, so let's get into it. What's currently on the platform? I know you guys just put out the documentary, talking about the homeless, which is a reoccurring big issue, especially out here in the Northwest. You just continue to see more and more homeless in the different neighborhoods and the tent cities that they are putting into place, and school parking lots and library parking lots. It's definitely becoming an issue.
Yeah, it definitely is. And as we kind of hint to in the trailer that was just released for it, the answer is really simple, honestly. And for me, I was surprised is how simple it could be to like fix the laws and stuff that everybody talks about is a problem, but nobody's doing anything about that. And that's the biggest problem. Nobody's doing anything about it. And it's housing laws, really. It's incentives for building low-income housing. I mean, those incentives went away. I mean, nobody wants to build low-income housing because it's just not worth it for them anymore. So they will rather build the big skyscrapers with the condos and everything that sell for millions of dollars because that's the only place to make money. So it's looking at the laws that are out there that need to be changed to bring back the incentives and stuff for low-income housing in the greater Seattle area.
Yep. And, regardless of our personal opinions, and we won't go down that road, but when we talk about the Seattle City Council, why aren't they doing more to be able to relieve the issue? And the issue is loud and clear.
It is. And I'm really excited because Sana Fatima, the director for this documentary, she's working on getting an interview with the new mayor. And apparently the new mayor is a huge advocate to fix this problem. I'm really excited to sit down and film that interview because I think it's going to be a big eye-opener and let people realize like what needs to be done, truly what needs to be done. And it's not just like looking at it from an outside box and being like, I can't do anything about this. No, we can, as a group of people, as a massive city, and as a society here, we can do something about it.
Well, I think, from an outsider looking in, and believe me, I'm no expert on the subject, but, you'd be oblivious to, not recognize and not see the issue that we have here in the Northwest with the homeless and how it's expanding and taking over a lot of, real estate coverage.
Yeah.
A lot of states nationally see the platforms that we've built into place here and how we handle the situation, and then they're sending them here in busloads.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fact. So I think part of the problem is these other states need to figure out their own issues instead of just
Yeah, they do.
then just instead of sending all of them to us for us to have to deal with it.
That is a big problem.
And I would think that the mayor, who has a fair enough amount of power, would want to reach out to other mayors around the country to be able to offset and put proper grids and flight plans into play so they can deal with the issues. So they're not all coming out here and literally in busloads.
Yeah, definitely.
So when can we expect to hopefully be able to see that interview with the mayor?
Well, we are looking to. I talked to Sana, and she's hoping that we can have this out by September.
Great.
That's the plan, is having this whole thing done and wrapped it by September. She's raising the funds right now to finish it out. We sponsored like the majority of the 2 months solid of filming and everything. We still have a lot to cover.
Sure.
Documentaries are a lot of work.
I bet. Yeah.
So right now she's raising the final funds for everything, and we're moving as fast as possible as we can on it.
And just talk about how much work went into the current documentary that just came out that people can have an opportunity to see. That you just
well the current documentary. So we have we have a little over, I think 25 or 26 days of filming that on a documentary. We did it all in the last month and a half, basically just pumping that out as fast as we could. Every day that we weren't working on some corporate work or our normal work, Corvuside Productions was dedicating that time to the documentary. And we got the trailer that we shot for it was a 2-day shoot in itself. And then and that came out, we got that edited and put out because we had a timeline for that for her. And then we are working on kind of building the rest of the story for it. And she's going after a lot of interviews, like I said, with the mayor, that are key pieces to put into the documentary. So,
have you reached out to any of the local? I mean, we're national, but some of the local TV affiliates, Como, King, Cairo, Q13, for them to pick up?
Not yet.
Any interest level there for them to pick this up to be able to air some snippets of it?
It would definitely be something that we need to reach out to, and that is probably the next thing on our docket to do.
Okay. If I can help you, let me know. I know a fair amount of people at these networks. Be a good person for you to maybe reach out to, and you can feel free to drop my name as David Rose, the anchor over at Q13, the 10 o'clock show. He's a good buddy of mine, and he's all about this type of stuff. You see him, you see him out there on the streets and doing live interviews and takeaways. So he'd be a good first start.
That'd be awesome.
For
it's
you
definitely a topic that needs to be out there for everyone to see.
Yeah, because it's definitely a growing issue. I mean, just we take, for example, 19th Avenue, which is a long corridor here in Seattle. It goes in front of Volunteer Park, which is a well-known park here in the Great Northwest. Same architecture that built Central Park in New York City. I mean, I can't tell you how many RVs and campers and vans that you see posted up there. And, there's people that live right across the street, who really wants to be able to look at these things, at night. It's kind of eyesore. So there are ways. I mean, you see other countries have other countries and other states too have adapted these programs into place where they everybody comes together, they have enough funding, and they build these small houses. There's a whole community of them.
There is one a friend of mine. His name is Greg Marks. He runs a nonprofit Right Now Today, and he does a lot of different kind of causes and stuff, and last one he was working on was actually building small homes for the homeless.
Good.
And he raised a ton of money, and they got a piece of land and everything, and built this amazing little encampment and everything, and with all these small miniature homes around there. And the reality is we need 1,000 of those kind of people working on that. Just raising some money, and it wasn't expensive. It was just something that could be put into place to get shelter over people's heads that are sleeping out in the streets.
Yeah, and a lot of kids are too. There's a lot of kids. I mean,
a lot of families.
Yeah.
It's really hard to take when you actually start diving deep into it, and you realize how many people just had a bad month, and the whole world was pulled out of underneath them in 1 month.
And a lot of it has to do with medical bills.
It does. It really does. Medical bills and like losing a job, like they just their job goes away and they didn't have enough cushion and they lasted a month, 2 months maybe, and all of a sudden the job market for them wasn't there, and the next thing they know, they don't have a place to live.
Yeah, it's definitely a serious issue. And I would think too, like, these types of people that raised all this money to be able to build these little homes for the homeless, like if we just took the initiative and the proper placement into effect to be able to do this and make Washington shine like it should,
yes,
so these other states can be able to see what we're doing, then they wouldn't be busting them here. I think that's really the easy alternative to solve the problem. The more we
totally
do here, the less
is.
that we'll have more coming in.
Exactly. Set an example. Do by like leading others by showing them what the proper procedure is to take care of problems. I mean,
and closing the floodgates, because right now the floodgates are open.
Yeah.
So let's talk about switching subject. Let's talk about
Yes.
Talk It Up TV. You're definitely the other strong name behind the brand. Of course, you and Annie head that up, and there's always fun and exciting things to be talking about with Talk It Up TV.
Oh, yeah.
What's the next event?
Well, the next thing, what's kind of exciting right now is yesterday, Tess Stewart, the editor, my fiance, and the editor for Talk It Up TV cut the sizzle reel or the sizzle trailer for our next episode, which is a heavy episode. It's talking about suicide prevention.
Yeah, that's very heavy.
Just watching what her and Annie had cut together and everything to release. It should be releasing, I think, this week, I know for a fact, but I think they're going to try to release it either today or tomorrow. But it makes a hair stand up on the back of your neck, and just your stomach just drops, understanding or just seeing what people deal with. And it's interesting too, because it's what I loved about it, it ends with everybody saying, like, I thought I was alone, but you're never alone. And that's the truth. More people that we can ever imagine suffer from depression, suffer from like little things that cause them to like hit a point where suicide is an option, and it's not seeing people around them, not seeing the little tiny signs and everything. Like how do you see that? I had a friend of mine that everybody was shocked about, and like this one still hurts really bad today. I had just had a meeting with him. He lives out of state. He come to my house, and we like had an amazing like 6 hours just talking and stuff. He was very happy, very in love with his wife. Just everything was so perfect in his life. Traveled. He was an artist and everything. He came home one day from traveling, walked into his house, said hi to his wife, and the next thing she knew, she heard a bang in their bedroom. And
Wow.
he just walked into the room and shot himself.
Wow.
Nobody has a clue why.
And when did this happen?
Oh, this happened like a year ago.
A year ago.
And it's really tough because like I was really excited to work with him. We talked about going on road trips together and everything. It just came a shock. And it's like, if that can happen to somebody that seems so happy and so like, you never know what's going on in somebody's lives. It's because you don't you don't expect that you have to like pay attention to those little things. But if we are truly paying attention to everybody that's around us and looking to make sure that people are doing good, they're okay, and truly listening to them. That's the other thing. Truly listening to them.
And developing the right structured plans into effect. Good communication, good foundations. If you need someone to talk to, having that person to be able to talk to. And that's what I always try to put out there to people too. It's like no one should, like you said, no one should ever feel alone. Even if you don't know the person that well, feel free to reach out, pick up the phone, ask for some opinions, some recommendations. Just to be able to have someone you can talk to. A lot of times it's just, people having someone to be able to vent to. A lot of people don't even have those proper avenues into effect just to be able to vent.
It's so true. Yeah, this episode, just like the last one that was on sex trafficking, this next episode is going to be amazingly heavy, but it's going to be something that really needs to be put out there. And I'm excited to see what Annie comes up with for the surprise twist at the end.
I am too. So we'll be able to expect to see that when?
I think we're trying to get that done by the end of this month.
Great.
So,
Good.
yeah.
And you just mentioned sex trafficking. That's another big issue that we've seen here
God,
too.
yeah.
I mean, we've heard about stories at SeaTac Airport,
Yeah.
where airport employees have seen things right in front of their faces, where children will be dropped off,
Yeah.
or they'll actually catch them in play, in effect, and
Yep.
and to be able to nab these guys, these people that need to go to jail,
Yep.
and it's also a growing issue. It seems like it's been able to get better to a degree, but you still definitely hear about it.
Yeah, definitely. I was shocked to find out that we were one of the top sex trafficking cities in the United States. I was really shocked because we're such a progressive, amazing city here, and find out that we are the one of the biggest problems, and it's because we're a port city and everything. I didn't know that there was so much abduction and stuff, and people being trafficked through Seattle, and it's a big problem. And I highly suggest people go and look up Talk It Up TV. You can go on YouTube and look up Talk It Up TV and look up through the videos and stuff. You'll find these videos, and they're amazing. They're amazing episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen a lot of them, and I've seen the work that you guys do, and you guys definitely, cater to the problem. You guys, figure out what the real issues are, especially in the market that you guys represent, and you guys get deep, and you really go deep and do a deep dive and be able to put out a proper illustration and a respected illustration too, to be able to tackle these issues. A lot of the issues that we've touched, suicide prevention, the homeless, sex trafficking. In addition to these, are there any kind of switching gears a little bit, referring to Talk It Up TV? Any upcoming, more entertaining, more fun,
or fun events and stuff?
Fun events that we can discuss?
I have to check with Annie. I know that they're planning on their next event. I can't remember what it was. I'm sure it's going to be either the Big Red Carpet event, because we just got done with the Spooky Soiree, and I do know that she's planning on this year having a huge Talk It Up TV New Year's.
Oh, great.
Event.
Good.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be a new one.
Yeah.
So,
and there's a lot of fashion events, Seattle Fashion Week, Bellevue Fashion Week, I think you guys should be part of that.
I definitely. Annie does a lot of work with Seattle Fashion Week, and she models a lot for them and everything too, which is fun.
Good. And one thing that I want to touch on too, that we talked about last time you were in, was just how caring and how giving and you like to help people out. And I'm the same way, man. And one thing that stood out to me was, just the opportunities and all the work that you've done with drones.
Yeah.
And when people reach out to you, if it's a slow calendar day, you will be able to put the proper placements into effect and to be able to help people out. And let's talk about that.
Definitely. Not everybody can afford our corporate rates and stuff, and so if there's time that somebody wants aerial shots or something for their small independent production, maybe even if it's a small music video or something like that, or a short film, we love to be able to work within their budget and stuff. Sometimes we go out. We've been out to go out to help something out for free because it was such a great idea that they have an amazing project that they're doing and stuff. And it's we would love to help sponsor that. But it's aerial cinematography, I think, is something that should be available for everyone. Good aerial cinematography. Yeah. Because really, you can go out and take a drone and fly it around and stuff, but having that creator's eye, that cinematic eye that stems from being a director of photography and stuff, that's what gives your shots something that jumps off the page and everybody's like, oh my God, that's beautiful. I mean, look, if you watch the homeless in Seattle, there's 2 aerial shots in that, and the last shot in that trailer is an aerial shot, and it's a very slow moving, pushing shot, very lifting up to see the city, and you see the construction that is going in and everything, of looking down on these huge skyscrapers that are being put in, and then it lifts up and it sees the city itself. So wow. It's a very hard hitting shot, and that's the thing with aerial cinematography. If you used right, you can make a huge impact in what you're saying over that shot.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, that's and you see that a lot, just like you mentioned. And I know you've had the opportunity to work on a lot of music videos.
Oh yeah, we're actually working on one with Complex Dialect right now. I'm really excited. It's a big music video, and I just got a call from a friend of mine, Cedric, that wants to do a music video this weekend for a client of his, and so we're working on scheduling that in and everything. It should be hopefully a one-day shoot. Unlike Complex Dialect, we're looking at about 6 days and stuff on that one. But
and where will the one-day shoot be taking place?
I just talked to him this morning.
Okay.
So I don't know the location yet or anything, but we're going to be talking through this week to get everything scheduled and ready to go.
And when you do normally a 6-day shoot, how do you be able to go from point to point and figure all that out?
With a 6-day shoot, we've already had 3 days. 2 days were downtown by Freeway Park and then Pillar Park and in surrounding areas. We had a permit that's like a roaming permit, so we can film with one camera and a small camera crew. And we were filming kind of all in these different areas because it's the music video itself is it's called Looking for a Friend for the End of the World. It follows 3 different characters as one sends out a message on a message board that he's looking for a friend for the end of the world, and two other people that are kind of like in the down and outs and like just done with society and what's going on in society. We're looking at one of them is affected by racism and affected by the violence and stuff he sees around him. And it's subtle racism too. Like we put that in there. It's not like blatant racism. It's things that people deal with every day, like the little tiny things.
Yeah.
And then the other character is just, she's very disconnected from reality of people and of real life. She parties to try to like get rid of the stress of reality and everything. And so these 3 characters end up traveling through Seattle to meet up at Freeway Park. And it's them just like finding this getaway, this beautiful getaway, this actual true
Powerful.
Friendship.
Yeah.
And so a lot of filming in different locations as far as each location for the people's homes, the characters' homes and stuff, and then all the travel shots. And I think our next big day is we're working with trying to get the Metro bus that we have to film on. So we're going to work with the city for that.
That'll be a fun opportunity. It'll be a fun, exciting day. Talk about some of the other artists that you've had the opportunity to work with, just creating their music videos and their platforms for.
I've been able to work with Devin. Now I can't remember his last name.
That's all right, Devin.
Devin, we worked and did some aerial work for a friend of mine, that director named Colin Neal.
Okay.
An amazing guy. He's actually based in Spokane now. We worked with Jeff Tate from Queensryche. We worked with Metal Church, and
so a whole wide variety of different artists.
Yeah, a wide variety of different artists. We've worked with Cola, who was used to be Kid Sensation.
Yep.
And worked with his son. His son is incredible.
He is.
Like, oh my God.
He really is.
Love that kid to death. He is an amazing artist, and he's being raised so well. Like his dad is a great person.
Yep.
But yeah, just a wide variety of different music. And I love doing music videos. I was talking actually with Super Dave. I love doing music videos because it's artists coming together and working with artists.
Yep.
And that's what excites me the most about film is like when I get to work with a musician or artist and take their vision and take it to a whole nother level. And when I see them get excited, like when we were shooting the last day with Complex Dialect, Ernie, the guy, one of the main singers with Complex Dialect, was getting so giggly and excited over the shots. And I love seeing that. I love seeing like another artist like get ecstatic over seeing his vision like come to life on screen. It's really fun.
Oh, it's amazing too. It's just, it's amazing too when you just, because you'll see someone, and both sides of someone. You'll see someone like how they are on camera, in the zone, and how they are off the zone. And it's definitely a cool, complex to a degree to be able to see both sides and how they can maneuver and ultimately create the pathway for their branding and their illustration for what the fan base wants to see.
Yeah, exactly.
What we kind of covered Talk It Up TV and all the things that you obviously do for the community, and people can reach out to you and you'll work with them to a degree, and especially if you have some downtime to offer drone footage or proper footage that they want for upcoming documentaries or videos. With that being said, what's a good way that people can contact you to reach out to express interest for that?
Oh, the best way is you can look up corvusieproductions.com.
Okay.
And it's CORVUSEYE
Okay.
Productions with the S.com. You can also find us on Facebook. You can email us at info@Corvusie Productions or Jeremiah@Corvusie Productions. Those are the two quickest ways to get to us.
And speaking of Tech Tuesdays, there's always new amazing technology going into the new drones that you see out on the market. Yeah. So someone like yourself who operates and who owns them, are you excited? And have you thought about picking up any of the new ones? Because last week I had he was actually an official drone operator where he teaches classes.
Nice.
So with that being Tech Tuesdays, anything that you've been admiring or seeing on some of the new?
I'm still just like in awe with our Inspire 2. Like the DJI Inspire 2 is a work. It's kind of like having the Ferrari of drones. Like that thing is an amazing workhorse, but at the same time, DJI is coming up with some incredible things. A friend of mine just picked up. He's just a local filmmaker. Actually, it was Colin, local filmmaker over in Spokane, and he hit me up and he's like, I just picked up the new DJI Mavic Pro. That thing is, for the price, if you want to be introductory into drones and stuff and like learning how to fly drones and get amazing like footage, that is the way to go, because those things are like the Inspire 2s, take great footage. The only difference is with the Inspires and the Inspire 2 and stuff, you have somebody controlling the camera, so you can be flying and somebody else is controlling what the camera's looking at, so you can track things a lot better. Like, it's very more cinematic. But if you're looking at just the entry level, DJI Mavics, amazing little drones.
And what's the price range, and what do you ultimately get for kind of a beginner like that?
You can find the Mavic Pros for a couple grand.
Okay.
Like, because the Inspire 2s and stuff, I mean, you'd be looking like full kit and stuff upwards to 6,000. So.
And there's some today that a lot of search and rescue operations use. I mean, you can get up to that.
We have actually worked with Bellevue Police or Bellevue Fire Department, for search and rescue for drowning victims and stuff before, and used our drones to scan back and forth on the lakes for hours looking for a body and stuff like that. It's amazing what you can do with these things.
Wow.
The image quality is way more than they could have ever asked for, and they were very excited about having us out there, because it definitely made it so it limited the time they had to put in for searching for someone.
And they mentioned too the drone instructors that were on with me last week, saying in the next year or two, I mean, this thing's going to surpass. I mean, it's going to be like $70-80 billion industry.
Oh, it is. It's growing so fast, and it's amazing because it's such a new industry. Huh. It's a baby industry. I mean, oh my God, we the first time I saw drones over in Europe being used and stuff with the Phantom ones, like 2009. It's just a small industry.
Huh. So. And it must be a good feeling, when Bellevue Fire reaches out to you asking for your assistance and help. I mean, the world probably stops, because it's
it definitely is.
Music videos are important, but when we're in search and rescue,
in search and rescue mode, it's definitely that's top priority.
How often do you assist Bellevue Fire for that?
We assisted them one time with this, and we've done a couple other. I've done a couple other flights and stuff for assessing damage to buildings before people went in. That's actually a huge use of drones, is assessing damage, so they don't walk into something that they could get hurt or killed in. They need to see what they're walking into, and
also for natural disasters like earthquakes and tornadoes, fires, stuff like that.
Exactly.
Wow,
exactly.
I didn't even think a drone would have the capability to get through those sometimes tight corridors to be able to do that.
Yeah, and that's again with the DJI Mavic Pro and stuff. The sensors, like our Inspire 2, it's a larger drone, but these drones are getting smaller, and they still have the same sensors, the avoidance sensors on them, so they can get into tight little places and stuff without running into something.
Is it true that you have to take an exam to be able to operate one?
You do. You have to have a 107 pilot license if you want to do any work as far as commercial work or anything like that. If you want to get hired or anything like that.
So you better get an A+ on that exam. Huh? There's no B- or C+. You ain't gonna cut it.
There's B- and stuff, but you don't want to fail the exam.
Yeah.
And it's a very hard exam, actually. I studied for it, and honestly, the hardest part about it was the weather, reading the weather charts and everything, and like that stuff is confusing. When you look at it, it looks like you're looking at Braille if you don't know how to read Braille. You're like, I have no idea. So it takes some time to study, and you make sure that you study because it's a lot of stuff on that test has to do with the weather charts and maps, the aerial maps and everything like that. So.
Because you are really, I mean, it's aviation, and you really are a pilot. I mean, the last thing you want to do is start interfering with air traffic.
Exactly. Like safety is top priority whenever you're taking a drone up in the air. You want to make sure that you are doing everything 100% safe.
So if you're listening out there and you want to, treat it as a hobby or get into the search and rescue or just do whatever, of course, whatever Jeremiah does with music videos, there's so many different avenues and proper qualifications that need to go into place to own and operate a drone, and it's always interesting to hear about the technology side of drones and everything that they offer to the community. I want to thank you again for being on my show and being on the air with us here today at Studio 110 Live. Always things to be talking about, and man, props to you for all that you do here for the homeless community out here in Washington. Hopefully we'll be able to battle that issue and be able to get Seattle on the map to a higher level to show all these other states that they don't need to be bussing them in anymore. So
Definitely.
So thank you again. Tell Annie I said hello, and
I will.
I'll look forward to watching the up and coming documentaries that you guys put out so well, and you execute them so properly for Talk It Up TV. So thank you again for coming in.
Thank you, definitely.
Erica, you can let the next in-studio guests in. It's a busy show today. I want to shout out all the guests that have been in. Thank you, Jeremiah. And all the guests that have been in today on the phone. Of course, my guy, Jay from Talk It Up TV. Not Jay, I mean, not Jeremiah. That's, when you have a busy show like this, these freaking blurbs can happen. So my guy Jay from Fan Stereo from New York City, so nicely named it twice. And who else did we have on today? We had Jay, we had my guy Bartek, senior software engineer for Google, and of course my guy Jeremiah here from Talk It Up TV. Next time he comes in, he needs to bring his counterpart like he did last time, Annie Havland. Definitely continuing to do amazing things out here in the marketplace. I want to welcome my next in studio guest here, if you don't mind putting on the headphones here and saying hello and giving and introduce yourself properly here for me and let everybody know why you're here today.
Well, hello, I'm Katrina Romatowski.
Yes.
Excuse me.
No problem.
I'm here today because we are having an event called Buildings and Beer Bitcoin Edition.
Yes, very excited for this upcoming event. And what's the date on this event coming up?
The date on this event is Thursday, May
17th. Yes,
6 p.m. to all hours of the night.
So it'll be an event to remember.
It will be an event to remember. It's here at the
at Studio 110.Live's headquarters,
right.
where we broadcast this massive show from Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 Pacific Standard Time. It was good to meet you up here a couple of weeks ago. I'm always honest with my listeners. I'm horrible sometimes with names. I mean, if you ask me a random phone number, I can spit it out. I mean, we all have our talents.
That's impressive.
We all have our talents. If you ask me the phone number of downtown Nordstrom's, the flagship store, 206-628-2111.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Bellevue, 425-455-5800.
So there you go. What's Mall Information's phone number? Well, see, got you. 425-454-8096. See? Sorry, let's end it there because I don't want to cause any more embarrassment. But, it's good to memorize phone numbers. It's numbers. It's good to memorize numbers. You thought probably when you walked into my studio, the last thing that we'd be talking about on the air today was random phone numbers, So that's just expect the unexpected when you come here on this show, Studio 110.Live. So welcome back, and super excited about this event. It's going to be an event called Buildings and Beer. And of course, the Bitcoin edition is going to be happening Thursday, May 17th here at Studio 110.Live's headquarters. And let's talk about what Buildings and Beer and why people should be interested overall in adapting into this very cool concept.
Excellent. So first of all, Buildings and Beer is an opportunity.
If you just come a little closer to the mic, please. Thank you.
So Buildings and Beer is an opportunity for real estate investors, developers, builders, rehabbers, flippers, right? Anybody involved in the game of real estate investing, from single-family residential all the way up to large high-rises downtown.
Great.
They get together and they have a chance to network and meet people who are playing this game at a high level.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is there's this whole world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, Bitcoin, what is
FutureNet.
this? FutureNet,
Yep.
right? FutureNet's huge.
Yep.
And so they're wondering, what is this? What are the entrepreneurial opportunities here? How does this pertain to what we're doing? And how's it going to impact us in the long run? So, and some people think, blockchain, that's irrelevant to what we're doing here in real estate. However, I just heard recently that blockchain technology is being used in Honduras.
Wow.
And it has actually put 80% of the title companies out of business there.
Wow.
So
that's powerful.
We do have an infrastructure here. We do have systems and an organization that works and has worked throughout all of our history.
Sure.
However, in other areas, they're adopting it. It's working. And so, of course, what's going to happen is it's going to emerge here.
There you go. And just one more cool thing to emerge out here in the Northwest, where a lot of stuff goes down, and we're surrounded by tech here. It's Tech Tuesdays on the show, so when we look outside the studio window here, we see some of the biggest technology companies. So super excited to partner up with you, and excited to be part of this event. And it's all about networking. I've gone to a lot of networking events, and you never know who you're going to meet at a networking event. So it's definitely a cool opportunity to pass some business cards and meet people.
That's really part of the idea of what we do. We believe that every question we have, everything that we need is available just through the people that we meet, the conversations, the opportunities that come about by engaging, right?
Correct.
So if you've got a room full of people who are doing this, and they're doing it, as I said, at a high level, the opportunities that come together, the ideas that are created are pretty amazing. One of the attendees is a gentleman who builds high-rises downtown Seattle. You can stand in the Columbia Tower at the top, and he can sit there and say, oh, that one, that one, that one. It was pretty amazing when he was showing me just out of one window everything he'd built. He also builds galactic structures.
Wow.
Right? So it's just interesting people who do interesting things. They think creatively,
and it's good communication. It's good, having the proper communication to not, feeling, nervous or not willing to be able to speak to these types of people. Because if you have good communication, I don't care who you are,
Well, we've got beer.
There you go.
We got beer. We've got wine.
Yeah, and that solves a lot of issues. I mean, if I asked you if you had vitamin water Power C, the one with no sugar, then that would personally entice me. I'm not much of an alcohol drinker, but I'll bring my own.
Power water, no sugar.
Yeah, I don't want to add any more to the massive laundry list here for this wonderful event coming up. I will supply my own vitamin water Power C, my drink of choice. I mean, that's just my drink of choice, what I enjoy. All right, let's kind of get a little bit deeper into the event. Can people still sign up to be?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
tickets are available. You can buy them at Eventbrite.
Okay.
You search Buildings and Beer Bitcoin Edition, or the
Okay.
easiest is to just go to Facebook, look up Katrina Eileen Real Estate, and you can buy your tickets right there.
And I know you're definitely heavily involved in real estate. You own your own firm,
Brokerage.
correct?
We do.
Brokerage firm.
Do. So we provide both brokerage services as well as investor services.
Yep. And it must amaze you just just driving through the I-5 corridor, our freeway system out here, and counting the amount of cranes just in South Lake Union alone. I mean,
Seattle's called Crane City, so we have the most cranes in the air across the United States. At the last count that I was published, I think it was 68 cranes.
wow.
The next behind us was LA with only high 30s.
Wow. Do you feel like it'll ever slow down, or do you think it'll just continue to pick up?
That's an interesting question. It's also very political. We're looking at Amazon. We're a tech
Yes.
hub, right?
Yes.
So City Council's voting next week. Let's see what they do as far as whether Amazon speeds up or slows down.
So we're all kind of waiting on Bezos's top-notch executive decision, and he's a powerful guy. So we'll see what he.
And
we'll
also, Seattle's the mecca for, Starbucks, Costco,
Boeing, Nordstrom's.
Boeing, Red Robin, right?
Red Robin.
Everything,
I love
right?
their fish sandwich. Yeah.
Exactly. It
Hold
all
the tartar
starts
sauce.
here.
Hold the
So-
tartar sauce. And all you can eat fries usually,
Put it on the side. I'll take it.
Yeah, the tartar sauce can be deadly, so that's why I have to put the tartar sauce aside.
Good
'Cause-
for you. See, you're healthy.
Yeah, I try my best. Anything mayonnaise related, I run from. So,
Oh.
That's just, what, see?
What
Phone
about-
numbers, mayonnaise, tartar sauce, Power C vitamin water.
You're a cool cat.
See how we take these, we don't like to make interviews boring around here. We like to take them up a couple notches. This is not your average, interview that you'd probably go into one of the television stations and be proper and no one's smiling and everybody looks like a bunch of PZs. A PZ is a personality zero. So, they say they just learned another thing. So let's talk about the speakers for this event. I know you mentioned one of them who took you up there and he pointed out all his properties. It's probably a heavy hitter.
Well, actually, he is a heavy hitter. He's not one of our speakers.
But he might be in attendance, correct?
He will absolutely be in attendance. He's been
Good.
there. He's already bought his ticket. He's
Great.
bringing some of his colleagues. And he has attended all of our buildings and beer events.
Good.
Big fan.
How often do you guys do these events?
We do these twice a year.
Twice a year, okay.
Yep. So we've rented out Red Hook. We've done them at the Columbia Tower Club.
Good.
We always find a great location, bring in great speakers, and have a packed audience.
There you go. So let's talk about some of the speakers for this event.
Okay, excellent. So Eileen Quinn from Dragon Chain will be speaking. She's one of the founders. Dragon Chain came out of Disney.
Okay.
They developed it there. Disney decided to make it open source. When they left, Disney's the creators of that Dragon Chain. When they left, they are now creating a new company who's doing some pretty cool things in the world of blockchain.
Great.
And she's just fresh out of the Global Blockchain Summit. She was a featured speaker there.
Wonderful.
She is wicked smart, and she also can explain things in a way that I can get.
There you go.
And so it's really interesting. In fact, she's where I learned about what happened with title in Honduras.
Okay.
So she's very well versed. She might talk about smart contracts. She'll talk about things that are very relevant to what we're doing and where we're going.
There you go. And who are some of the other hosts?
Some of the other hosts, well, of course, me, Katrina. I own Katrina Eileen Real Estate. Adam Mickelson with Pridwin Development. We've got Radically Distinct Marketing. Xavier will be here. Rick Romatowski from Bear Creek Investing, and Matt Straxhaber from Brick House.
There you go. And every sponsorship dollar is donated directly to charity?
That's right. So we have some sponsors who will be here. That are interested in being in front of this audience. They're going to sponsor us.
Great.
And every dollar that they pay in sponsorship is going to be going to First Washington, which is an organization that inspires young people to be in science and technology leaders.
And and like you just said, that the money goes to a great cause, correct?
It does. It does. It takes people. It takes young people who would not be able to get into these STEM programs or be involved in science and technology, and creates opportunities for them.
There you go. Well, I'm super excited about this event coming up. We're super excited to partner up with you. It's going to be a great event. How can people get their tickets again? Can you please give that platform?
Yeah, absolutely. Go to Facebook and look up Katrina Eileen Real Estate, and right there on that page, you can just purchase your tickets straight there.
And just your reach alone, you have over 1,100 teams just across our state alone, talking about just your business in general.
It's a pretty powerful platform, and we're really excited to be partnering with FutureNet. We're really excited to be looking at the whole blockchain and be the real estate brokerage that's the innovator, and looking at where's this whole industry going, because it's antiquated, it's clunky, it's old, and what's going to emerge is the same thing that happens in Seattle, right? What emerges here is innovation, and we want to be in that. That's who we are.
Awesome. Any other things that we need to discuss about this event? I want to make sure we cover all the important facts.
No, I think we've got it. We're really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. Incredible people will be there, and some great opportunities are going to come out of it.
Great. So and I definitely will be here, and we'll spread the word here for you at Studio110.live. Can you give the address out again here for people to purchase tickets?
Yes. Go to Katrina Eileen Real Estate at Facebook, and purchase the tickets right there from the event.
There you go. Well, super excited to have you in the studio with us today.
Thank you so much.
We have to sign off a few minutes early today, but we will be back at it tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Studio110.live. Can you give out any contact information in addition for people to buy tickets?
Yes, absolutely. You can go to you can go to KatrinaEileen.com
Okay.
and go to the events page.
Okay.
Or again, Eventbrite. Look up Buildings and Beer Bitcoin Edition.
Great.
We've got it published on LinkedIn, and it's also at our Facebook page.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming in. I want to make sure we covered all the important facts. Correct.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I didn't want to take too much of your time. I know you're a busy lady, and we got what we needed to get out, and we'll continue to promote this event for you, and super excited to partner up with you. Until that, we will be back at it tomorrow, 1 to 3 Pacific Standard Time, Studio110.live. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, and we'll be talking